Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here hanging out with me today. Let's start today's episode by talking about a feeling that I know every single person listening to my voice right now has experienced. Imagine you are about to speak up in an international business meeting, or you're standing in line trying to order food in an English-speaking country. Or you're just trying to introduce yourself to someone new. Suddenly, your heart starts pounding against your ribs. Your palms get sweaty, your throat goes dry, and the worst part? Your brain, which usually knows thousands of English words, completely empties out. It feels like a blank screen. You freeze, and then the negative voice in your head starts whispering, "See, your English isn't good enough. You're going to make a fool of yourself. Just smile, nod, and stay quiet." First, I want you to take a deep breath. Let it out because I need to tell you a huge secret. What you are feeling is not a language problem. It is a biological problem. When you get nervous, your brain goes into fight or flight mode. It treats a casual conversation like a threat to your survival. It shuts down your language center to save energy. Today, we are going to learn how to trick your brain and your audience into believing you are completely calm, collected, and in control. You don't need a perfect accent or flawless grammar to look confident. You just need the right linguistic signposts. Let's analyze what happens when a nervous speaker needs time to think. Usually, they do one of two things. Either they let out a massive, painful silence while staring at the ceiling, or they fill the gap with anxious sounds. When an audience hears those sounds, they instantly think, "Oh, this person is panicked. They don't know what they're talking about." But do you want to know what native speakers do when they need time to think? They don't make weird noises. They use what we call the thought bridge. These are elegant, deliberate phrases that buy your brain 5 to 10 seconds of processing time while making you look incredibly analytical and professional. Let's look at the first one. How should I put it? Imagine someone asks you a complex question. Instead of saying, "Let me think," you look them in the eye, slow down your voice, and say, "How should I put it? From my perspective, the market is changing rapidly." Do you see how sophisticated that sounds? It tells the audience, "I'm not struggling with English. I'm just carefully selecting the most intelligent way to express my brilliant thought." Let's look at another one. Let me rephrase that. If you start a sentence and realize you chose the wrong grammar structure, don't panic or apologize. Just stop, smile, and say, "Let me rephrase that. What I actually mean is..." It shows absolute control. You aren't failing, you are just refining your communication on the fly. Now, let's look at a scarier scenario. What happens if your brain doesn't just need a few seconds to think? What happens if your mind completely shuts down mid-sentence and you lose your train of thought entirely? Nervous speakers usually start apologizing frantically. Sorry, my English is bad. I forgot." The moment you apologize for your language, you hand over your power. You draw attention to the mistake. Instead, I want you to master the honest reset. This is where you calmly own the pause. If you look comfortable with your own silence, your audience will be completely comfortable too. Look at one of my absolute favorites. Bear with me for a second. I want to make sure I find the exact word for this. Let's break down that phrasal verb, to bear with someone. It simply means, "Please be patient with me," or "Hold on a moment." When you say, "Bear with me for a second," it is an authoritative, polite command. You are telling the room, "Hey, pause the clock for a moment. I am managing my thoughts, and you are going to wait because what I have to say is worth it." Another excellent phrase for this is, "Apologies, let me track back for a moment," as I was saying. The verb to track back or backtrack means to return to a previous point. By using this, you smoothly rewind the conversation, find your place, and slide back into your rhythm without a single person judging your fluency. When we are nervous, we naturally try to protect ourselves by making our statements sound small and non-threatening. We use what linguists call hedging words. Nervous speakers start almost every single sentence with phrases like, maybe we can, I think maybe, or I'm not sure, but. When you use those words, you are telling the audience that you don't believe in your own ideas. So why should they believe you? We need to flip the authority switch. We are going to delete those weak, trembling words and replace them with high-certainty framing phrases. Instead of saying, maybe this plan will work, say this instead. From my perspective, this is the most effective approach. Let's look at the phrase, from my perspective. It means the way I see things based on my experience and expertise. It sounds professional, structured, and highly intelligent. Let's look at another one. Instead of saying, I think this is true, say, honestly, I strongly believe that. The word honestly is a fantastic conversational signpost that native speakers use every single day. It adds sincerity and weight to your statement. Combined with the verb strongly believe, you sound like an executive making a definitive decision, not a nervous student trying to pass an oral exam. Before we do our final recap, I want to leave you with one final game-changing mindset shift. Many English learners believe that fluency means speaking like a machine gun. Fast, rapid, without stopping. So, when they get nervous, their adrenaline spikes and they start speaking incredibly quickly. And guess what happens? They trip over their words, they make simple mistakes, they run out of breath, and their panic increases. Listen to me closely. Fast speech is not a sign of fluency. It is a sign of anxiety. True authority sounds slow. If you force yourself to slow down your delivery by just 20%, two magical things will happen. First, it gives your brain the physical time it needs to look ahead and grab the next English word safely. Second, slowing down makes you sound incredibly calm and authoritative to everyone listening to you. Let's do a quick final review of our Nervous to Native blueprint. 1. The thought bridge. Use how should I put it? Or let me rephrase that to gracefully buy yourself thinking time. 2. The honest reset. Own your pauses with bear with me for a second to stay in complete control if your brain freezes. 3. The authority switch. Trade weak phrases like maybe for powerful ones like from my perspective. Now it's time for your daily challenge. I want you to head down to the comment section right now. Imagine you are in a meeting with me, and you need a second to think about a project. Write a short comment using one of the phrases you learned today, either a thought bridge or an authority switch. I am going to read every single comment to help you check your tone. Please smash that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and leave a thumbs up on this video. Stop aiming for perfection. Start focusing on connection. And I will see you in the next masterclass. Keep speaking, keep growing, and take care, everyone.